Hi everyone, I'm Linda Reimer, one of the librarians at the Southeast Steuben County Library. Welcome to Library Connections, our weekly readers and listeners advisory video cast. Enjoy. Library Connections number 124. This is the Friday, December 2nd, 2022 edition of Library Connections. Kicking things off with the top 5 fiction bestsellers for the week from the New York Times. At number 1, It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. In the sequel to It Ends With Us, Lily deals with her jealous ex-husband as she reconnects with her first boyfriend. At number 2, The Choice by Nora Roberts, the third book in the Dragon Heart Legacy series. Breen Kelly confronts darkness during her first Christmas in both Talim and Ireland. At number 3, It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. A battered wife, raised in a violent home, attempts to halt the cycle of abuse. At number 4, Verity by Colleen Hoover. Loan Ashley is hired by the husband of an injured writer to complete her popular series, and she uncovers a horrifying truth. And at number 5, Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. In a quiet town on the North Carolina coast in 1969, a young woman who survived alone in the marsh becomes a murder suspect. Moving on to the top 5 nonfiction bestsellers for this week. At number 1, The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama. The former First Lady shares personal stories and the tools she uses to deal with difficult situations. At number 2, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry. The actor, known for playing Chandler Bing on Friends, shares stories from his childhood and his struggles with sobriety. At number 3, I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. The actress and filmmaker describes her eating disorders and difficult relationship with her mother. At number 4, So Help Me God by Mike Pence. The former vice president gives an account of his career, including his time in the Oval Office and during the January 6th insurrection. And at number 5, The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. How trauma affects the body and mind, and innovative treatments for recovery. Our first recommended read for this week is the brand new book, Dead Man's Hand. It's the first book in a new urban fantasy series by James J. Butcher. Auditors, the most skilled magical beings, are enforcers of the magical community in Boston for the Department of Unorthodox Affairs. Grimshaw Griswold Grimsby, and I have to pause for a moment about that name. That name is really something. Try saying that 10 times fast. Grimshaw Griswold Grimsby. But of course I digress. The main character's name is indeed Grimshaw Griswold Grimsby, and he spent his youth training to become one of those elite auditors, only to be dismissed by Samantha Mansgraff, one of the most powerful witches in the department. When Mansgraff is found murdered, Grimsby becomes a suspect. Clearing his name will take all of Grimsby's talent, along with some assistance from the legendary huntsman and an unusual resident of elsewhere, the magical space that overlays the regular world. As Grimsby searches for the truth, he will discover a complex plot that would not only take away his freedom, but impact both the supernatural unorthodox and common usual residents of his city. Butcher's outcast protagonist and city setting ground the prose, even as the mysterious elsewhere introduces even more unusual action and questions for the future. Verdict: this debut from Butcher, son of Dresden Files novelist Jim Butcher, hits all the right notes for an entertaining urban fantasy series. Readers will want to see what happens next. And that's the Library Journal review. Moving on to our second recommended read of the week. This one is history. This is called The Revolutionary Samuel Adams by Stacy Schiff, who won the Pulitzer Prize for her work, The Witches. Pulitzer Prize winner Schiff delivers a revelatory and frequently riveting account of the life of founding father Samuel Adams. She portrays Adams as both a pious Puritan and a man of action, who muscled words into deeds in the cause of American independence, and whose destruction of most of his personal papers opened the door for adversaries to characterize him as a propagandist who provoked mob violence. Schiff begins the narrative with a dramatic description of the opening stages of the Revolutionary War, revealing that the main objective of Paul Revere's ride was to warn Adams that the British were coming. From there, Schiff traces Adams' early years in Boston, his entry into Harvard at age 14, and the financial catastrophe that rocked his family when the British Parliament dissolved a Massachusetts land bank co-founded by his father. By the late 1740s, he was writing political pieces for local newspapers, and soon became a leading opponent of new tariffs and regulations on the colonies. Throughout, Schiff vividly recounts major events in the lead-up to the Revolutionary War, including the Stamp Act crisis, the Boston Massacre, and the Boston Tea Party, and draws incisive sketches of Loyalist Governor Thomas Hutchinson, Patriot lawyer James Otis, and others. Fast-paced and enlightening, this is a must-read for colonial history buffs. And I'd say general history buffs too. Moving on to our first audiobook recommendation for this week, it's the new novel The Cloisters by Katie Hayes. The audiobook is narrated by Emily Tremaine. Hayes debuts with a moody and suspenseful story of a floundering art history graduate. Though Anne Stillwell has been unsuccessful in pursuing a grad school offer, she nevertheless lands a coveted summer internship at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. But upon arrival, she learns that the offer has been rescinded, and then hears of a vacancy at the Cloisters, where she joins the beautiful and supremely competent Rachel Mondre and assisting head curator Patrick Rowland on a research project related to the tarot, which, according to Patrick's hypothesis, has much older ties to the occult than scholars had previously assumed. Anne is dazzled by Rachel's wealth, and a quick, intense friendship develops as she is drawn into the research. Though she's increasingly unnerved by Patrick's fervor and seeming belief in the occult. Hayes carefully leaves the supernatural elements open to interpretation, and in summer is ultimately shaped by a tragedy with a traceably human cause. Readers will be fascinated by the evocative setting, as well as the behind-the-scenes glimpses into museum curatorship and the cutthroat games of academia. It makes for an accomplished debut, and that's the Publisher's Weekly Review. Our second audiobook recommendation for the week is the new Louise Penny novel, A World of Curiosities. The audio is read by Robert Bathurst. Bestseller Penny's virtuoso 18th novel, featuring Chief Inspector Armand Gamache, blends nuanced characterization with nail-biting suspense. Siblings Fiona and Sam Arsenault return to Three Pines, more than a decade after Gamache investigated the bludgeoning murder of their mother, Clotilda. His inquiry revealed that Clotilda had prostituted her children, then 13 and 10, at the time of the killing. During the case, he met his future number 2 and son-in-law, Jean-Guy Bouvard, who came to a different conclusion than his own. Gamache stayed involved in Fiona's life, even aiding her graduate studies in engineering. The Arsenault's arrival coincides with several murders, which seem connected to an unusual painting found concealed in a hidden room in Three Pines. It first appears to be a duplicate of the Paston treasure, a cryptic 17th century assemblage of items known as a world of curiosities. But anachronistic elements, such as a digital watch, have been added. Penny adds crucial details about Gamache's backstory and satisfactorily resolves a plotline tease from earlier in this series. This tale of forgiveness and redemption will resonate with many. And that's the Starred Publishers Weekly Review. Want more reading, listening, and viewing recommendations? Check out the Tech and Book Talk blog, which offers weekly and monthly recommendations, and the back catalog of Library Connections videos found on the Southeast Steuben County Library's YouTube channel. Moving on to our next section, next week at the library, we'll take a brief look at the events and activities hosted by the library for the week ahead of us. This time out, that's the week of December 5th through the 10th, 2022. And this information can also be found online. Just visit the library's website, located at ssclibrary.org, and click on the big bold calendar link located near the top of the page. And on a registration note, registration is required for programs unless otherwise specified, or unless the program is of the online on-demand variety, in which case, please just help yourself. You can register for programs through the library's website, through the calendar of events, by dropping by the library or giving us a call at area code 607-936-3713. On Monday, December 5th, we have a very special program in the offering. From 7 to 8 p.m., we have an artist talk with Chris Walters. He's going to talk about his exhibit, The Tradition Bearers. If you're not familiar with his work, Chris Walters is an outstanding local photographer. Now, this is going to be a Zoom program, so you do have to get the Zoom link by going to the library's calendar of events and then clicking on the title of the talk, Artist Talk with Chris, as you can see in the picture there. And then you'll get the Zoom link. And Chris is going to talk about the Tradition Bearers, his portrait project, showing the traditions of over 30 community members from Chemung, Steuben, and Schuyler counties. The exhibit is currently on view at the Southeast Bend County Library, so you can attend the artist talk and then pop into the library and look at the really cool portraits, which are hung throughout the library. Very cool stuff. Moving on to Tuesday, December 6th, we've got Adult Scrabble from 9 to 11 a.m. Adult Scrabble is held in the library's reading room. Then from 9:15 to 10:15 a.m., it's the first of our Adult Learners of English programs for the week, the Coffee, Tea, and English series. This one focuses on vocabulary. This is a hybrid program held both at the library in person and via Zoom. Then from 10 to 10:30 a.m., we have Story Time with Miss Sue, which is held in the Children's Department, currently relocated to the second floor of the library building. Then from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m., we have Coffee, Tea, and English Conversation, also a hybrid program. Moving on to our afternoon programs, from 3 to 4:30 p.m., we've got the weekly GATLIS, which stands for Gay at the Library After School. This program is held at the library, and it's a partnership program between the library and Planned Parenthood of Greater New York. The program contact is Carmen Greco of Planned Parenthood of Greater New York, who will be your host for the program. This program offers a safe and supportive space for youth to talk about gender, sexuality, and what's going on in their lives. It's open to anyone ages 11 through 18 and held in the library every Tuesday from 3 to 4:30 p.m. Then moving on to the evening programs, from 6 to 7 p.m. we have a program that is full, but as it's a drive-by craft program, I'm going to mention it anyway because if you've registered for it, it never hurts to have a reminder that you will need to come to the library between 6 and 7 p.m. on December 6th to pick up your December drive-through craft beaded star and beaded tree craft kit so you can go home and make the craft of the month. Then from 7 to 8 p.m., we have LSC Author Talk with Pulitzer Prize-winning novelist Geraldine Brooks. This is an online program, and you have to go to the library's calendar of events and click on the title of the program, which is seen here in the photo at the top. Very last one on December 6th, LSC Author Talk with. It doesn't show the whole title, but if you click on that online, and it does look just like that, you'll get the description page and you will find the link to attend the talk. So Geraldine Brooks will be talking about her latest book, historical fiction. It's called Horse. On Wednesday, December 7th, we've got 4 programs to bring to your attention, kicking things off with Miss Sue's Preschool Story Time from 10 to 10:30 a.m. This program will be held in the Children's Department at the library. Then from 1 to 3 p.m. we have the weekly Mahjong, which will be held in the library's reading room. Then from 3 to 4:30 p.m., the weekly Atlas program. Atlas stands for At the Library After School. This program is held at the library, and it's a program where kids can just plain drop by and there will be some sort of craft. The craft differs per week, and it's sort of a surprise craft. Registration is not required for this program. Just show up. Then from 6 to 8 p.m. we have the weekly Corning Adult Writers Group. This is a hybrid program held both in the library and via Zoom. On Thursday, December 8th, we've got 4 programs to bring to your attention. The first is a drop-in program. Between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m., Kids Explore Homeschool Group Ice Skating, which is what it sounds like. If you've got homeschoolers in your household, they can come to ice skate at the Civic Center Plaza, located between the library and City Hall, for a discounted admission of only $2. You can bring your own skates or rent a pair for only $1. This program is a partnership program between the library and the City of Corning Parks and Recreation Department. Then from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., it's Coffee, Tea, and English Book Club. This program is a hybrid program being held both at the library in person and via Zoom. Then from noon to 1:30 p.m., it's the Young Adult Scratch Coding Club. This program is held at the library, and if you're not familiar with it, Scratch is a program from MIT created for those wishing to learn how to program. Yes, this is computer-based. You can come to any one of the programs or all of them. And, of course, we have one on December 8th from 12 to 1:30 p.m. Then from 6 to 7 p.m. we have a young adult program which is full, but again, I'm going to mention it because if you've already registered for it, it doesn't hurt to be reminded that the December Tween to Go Clay Pot Tree Ornament, my goodness, try saying that 10 times fast. Anyway, the December Tween to Go program has the pickup of the crafting kit for the month between 6 and 7 p.m. on Thursday, December 8th. On Friday, December 9th, at 1 o'clock, we have the debut of the new episode of Library Connections. As we know, that's a weekly readers and listeners advisory video cast. The location is Facebook and YouTube. Then from 3 to 4 p.m., it's the monthly Library Book Club for Adults. The December read is Oh, William by Elizabeth Strout. This is a short one, so if you haven't read it already, you can pick up a copy at the circulation desk and easily read it before the 9th. And then you just join us in the conference room at the library at 3 p.m. on December 9th. Then from 4 to 6:30 p.m., it's Teen Dungeons and Dragons, led by Dungeon Master Jason. This gathering is suitable for ages 13 through 17. All levels of experience will be welcomed in this safe space. Come to one gathering or all, and for that one, registration is required. And on Saturday, December 10th, we have the second LSC Author Talk of the week. This time out, it's with best-selling author Frederick Bachman. The location is online. The program is from 2 to 3 p.m. and to get the link for the program, you visit the library's calendar of events. Click on the title of the program for December 10th and you'll be redirected to the page where you can access the link. And on December 10th, Frederick Bachman will be discussing his outstanding body of work, including his breathtaking new novel, The Winners, which is the third book in the Beartown series. And here briefly are our library programs contacts. So if you have questions about any of the programs held at the library, let us know. And that's the program for this week. I'll be back next week with a new edition of Library Connections. Have a great week.